It is official. Syria is back from the cold. The Arab world is embracing it, and all eyes are now on President Bashar al-Assad as he sits at the table of a very crucial Arab League in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So, how will this be interpreted? What will happen next to the war-torn country? In the next report, we bring you more about the story we have been tracking in the West Asia Post. Let's talk about Syria.
After 13 long years in the cold, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has touched down in Saudi Arabia, symbolizing a return for the once labeled pariah. Assad arrived in Jeddah on Thursday, where he'll be taking part in the Arab League summit.
When we talk about a joint Arab action and we are at a summit, we need a common awareness to build this Arab action.
Apart from Assad, Syria's re-entry to the bloc marks a big victory for Saudi Arabia's crown prince and de facto leader, Mohammed bin Salman. For the last few months, Riyadh has been exercising a foreign policy free from Washington's control, and Syria's re-entry to the bloc, despite US reservations, is a milestone. Over a decade ago, Saudi Arabia was the spearhead of opposition to Assad. Led by Saudi Arabia, Syria was shunned by fellow regional leaders after the Assad government's deadly crackdown on protests.
In view of the Syrian government's failure to carry out in its entirety and immediately the Arab League's initiative that was signed at the foreign ministerial level meeting on the 2nd of November 2011, we announced the suspension of the participation of the Syrian delegation in meetings of the Arab League Council and all of the agencies associated as of November 16th.
With this, Syria was out of the Arab League. Assad left alone in the region, with no country but Iran standing by it. Qatar and Kuwait are still not in favor of Syria's readmission. Unlike Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait and Morocco have not renormalized relations with Damascus. They maintain that al-Assad's government is illegitimate.
Regarding the state of Qatar, I have made its position clear in different forums. There were reasons for the suspension of Syria from the Arab League and the boycott of the Syrian regime at this time, and these reasons still exist, at least for us, the state of Qatar.
But leading the bloc, Riyadh used its influence as a leader in the Arab and Islamic world to persuade them to not obstruct Syria's return to the Arab League.
The return of Syria is the beginning of a movement, not an end. The direction of the resolution to the crisis in Syria will take time for procedures to be implemented, and it will be gradual. The task of this committee is to follow up on those procedures. Also, it is not a decision to resume relationships between Arab states and Syria. This is a sovereign decision left for every country to take on its own. In this decision, we are talking about holding the membership and the formation of a committee to communicate with the Syrian government and regime.
For regional leaders, pragmatism is the key. Re-engaging with Syria to achieve their national and regional interests is much more important than following the unsustainable Western strategy of isolating Syria. For them, the focus is on mitigating the conflict, on clamping down on Captagon networks, reversing drug trade, and solving the refugee crisis. What does Syria have to gain from its re-entry? Quite a lot. Assad sees normalization of ties with the Arab states, and specifically the region's economic powerhouse Saudi Arabia, as a critical source of potential funding. Observers comment what Assad needs is money, and he'll take it from all parties that offer it, be it Iran, Russia or Saudi Arabia.